Sculk Sensors. A new snapshot was added to the game a couple days ago, and with it came a new item, the Sculk Sensor, which allows for basically wireless redstone and the detecting of noises in your world. And of course, being me, I immediately thought of landmines in the form of TNT. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Bombs. We're building bombs. Yeah! Here was the first iteration of my landmine idea before any research whatsoever. But I soon realized that by placing the redstone, I would activate the trap and effectively explode whoever made the trap, which is not the intent. I messed around for a bit with the fact that redstone can travel up to 15 blocks, but the Sculk sensor can only detect 8. So then, if I place the redstone farther than 8 blocks away, but not farther than 13, it would still activate the TNT. But I realized that was a bit too much of a hassle. And I also remembered that wool insulates Sculk sensors, so I can use it to insulate the placing of the redstone and TNT, so that I won't explode while making my trap. Ah, shoot, 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 shoot. So here's what I've discovered with the wool. As long as I place the redstone 1 block down from the wool, I can place and destroy it without triggering anything. But as soon as I place it up here, it will definitely trigger it. Let's see if this works. Walking along the sandstone floor, waiting to be exploded. That explosion was far too small. We need something larger. I'm now realizing that 1 line of redstone can only activate 1 piece of TNT. And that is boring. So, what if we used the target block to activate a bunch of TNTs? Does that detect? It does. It does detect. But that's fine, because I will place the last one here, which is insulated because of the wool. But, oh, I better be careful not to walk. Now that is a bigger bomb. Alright. That there is a sufficient crater, but I think it can get bigger. We're moving to this side because I don't feel like cleaning up. I've made a sizable indent into our hole so that I may place a Sculk sensor in the middle and then 4 redstone outputs to create this times 4. Oh yeah, this is the bomb I'm looking for. Let's place in the redstone. Ooh. Alright, making those big bombs was cool and all, but I want to try something a bit more complicated. There's a feature with comparators and Sculk sensors that allows you to detect specific vibrations like a dog shaking or a player walking. And I can use that to detect only the player walking so that placing the blocks to cover up the redstone contraption doesn't immediately blow it up. You can see when I place the comparator up against the Sculk sensor and I walk around, it'll give off a signal strength of 1. But when I place or break a block, it'll give off a signal strength of 12. I need to use this mechanic to make a bomb that only detects players walking. I just spent 20 minutes working on this thing with pistons and redstone blocks and observers and lamps before I realized I hadn't even put in the comparator. That was why walking caused a signal strength of 14 bajillion. I didn't put the comparator. So I think what I'm going to try to do is use an item from a dispenser to trigger the explosion, and then I can use the longer redstone signal to prevent that item from going to the place where it can actually trigger the explosion. During this time lapse, I was trying to make something with the sole idea that I could use the longer redstone signal to lock a hopper, whereas the shorter one would not lock the hopper, but it ended up not working because the longer one would still activate the dispenser and then it would just unlock the hopper after a while and the item would still go through. So I scrapped it for something different. I also tried using arrows for something. I don't remember what the heck that was for. I think maybe I was gonna like put an arrow in the dispenser. That was ignore that. Okay, so that works, and it'll lock the hopper for the time being when you place a block, and then the item will stay there for a bit until after. But then when it goes out, I want it to Alright, that's good. The piston will go and then out, and then the item will have to stay in that hopper till this piston comes back, but then it'll go down and activate the bomb. That's not what we want. We gotta figure out how to prevent it from going down and make it go down only when the walking bit is triggered. So in this one, I switched from using hoppers to water and one hopper. That way, when the one hopper is locked, the item will fly right past and it won't have the opportunity to wait around until the hopper is unlocked. So now when you trigger the walking bit, the item will go straight into the hopper and trigger the bomb. But when the hopper's locked, it'll go right past and have no effect. So you see what I've done here? It's called a pro gamer move. I have used 3 comparators in one redstone contraption. Now, if that is not genius to you, I don't know what is. Obviously, that was a joke. I'm no mumbo jumbo, and this took hours. What am I doing with my life? Anyway, so the way that this contraption works is, when the Sculk sensor is triggered by a block, the signal strength will be high enough to trigger this piston, which will lock the hopper, meaning that the item dispensed will go all the way to the end where it will have no effect. But if you're only walking, the redstone signal will not have enough strength to power the piston, and it will only power the dispenser, meaning the item will go straight into the hopper like this. And that is what will trigger our trap, because we want it to only trigger when someone walks, not when they place a block. So I've rigged up the contraption to an explosion device far away from the original contraption because Lord knows I couldn't build this from scratch without looking at the footage. Anyway, time to give it a shot. I put in the trigger item. Now I'm going to cover it in sandstone. Now nothing should happen because I'm only placing blocks, so none of the items should go into the hopper and therefore trigger the explosion. Did I accidentally walk? Alright, so we've got the platform built up. Now it's time to test it. Please avert your eyes from that accident. Now let's walk on it. Oh hey, I wonder what I'm doing on this sandstone platform. Interesting. That is perfect. That's exactly what we wanted this contraption to do. But I can't help feeling a little underwhelmed. I think that ought to be enough to satisfy. Hey, I wonder what all this TNT stuff is for. Well, I may as well just step down and find out. Looks pretty interesting. Very, very nice architecture. What the? I don't know about you, but to me that seems like sufficient carnage for a little sound-sensing plant. Thank you so much for watching my video, and if you did enjoy, then please do subscribe. It's always been my dream to be a big YouTuber, so if you could just click that red button before you click on another video, that would really help me out a lot. Also, I have a Twitch, so maybe you should follow me there if you enjoyed this video. The link will be in the description.